Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning. Just finished setting up here. We're here. All right, here we go. Hopefully you guys are having a good morning. Morning, Evo. Thanks for sharing your camera. It's nice to see other people. So here we go. Today, Friday, May 22nd. Quickly, 5 things to know. I'm really liking this FinancialJuice website. It's fantastic for news, and I'll share what I took 2 trades this morning and both successful. And one of them was because of news I saw on FinancialJuice. So stock futures tick higher out of the holiday weekend. Yeah, all-time highs again. The Dow at record highs, S&P 500 riding win streak, Estee Lauder I don't really care about, workday, but then again, I mean, some people might trade this. And then W-Day, I remember trading this a few years back. No earnings schedule today, and the economic calendar seems a little bit light. There was some information shared in Canada today. Retail sales higher than expected, higher than forecast. The economy is going strong. So that's it for this. What I wanted to share here was the Pakistani army chief on his way to Tehran. As soon as this came out, the market just spiked over here. And that was my second trade. So I'll share that in a few minutes. Don't know if anybody's looking at anything. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Just looking at the chat. The market is open. I do not trade the open, even though my watch is going crazy. AMD all-time high. PDD 52-week low, down 5%. Donald Trump just posted. Nothing that has to do with the economy, I don't think. There we go, spiking up. Let me share what I was like. Actually, this is on MNQ. I did not take my trades on MNQ. I took it on MES. But this is a really good example of the kangaroo tail short. That's right. There's liquidity above here. There's lots of room to the left. We spike up and then come right back down. It's not ideal because it didn't close red. However, the difference between the open and the close is like a tick. So this doesn't really matter. The trade is to go short once you print a new low, especially on momentum. So on the first candle here, on the first 5-minute candle, I just would have been looking. But on the second one here, this would have been a really big drop and it would have been fast. So I probably would have taken it right here, stop above the wick. Or if you want to, and hindsight, it's easy to predict right now because we see where it went. But 50% of the wick is also something that I've tried and worked on. And this would have made it to 3 easily. It actually made it to almost 6. But I didn't catch this. This is too early for me, 4:20 in the morning. I do not like missing trades, or I did not like the fact that I was getting to the computer or I was looking at a product and you can see that the move is already gone. And in the past, I maybe would have tried to chase this, right? But I don't chase anymore. What I do is I take the retest. So here's the example here. So try to ignore what's on the side over here. Maybe I'll do a replay if you guys don't mind. So by the time I got to the computer, it was around 5:15. Right? So there was nothing on here. I guess I've taken a screenshot of this so I can take these off and show you what it is that I was looking at. And I'll get rid of this and get rid of that. There we go. So when I got to the computer, I saw that we had made the move down. Let's take this off too. right? So I'd missed this because I wasn't at the computer, but it was obviously a liquidity sweep at the top, and then we're selling. And some people will say, well, why wasn't my my fib at the top here? Well, I'll explain. If I put my fib over here and go to this low right here, right where we started to, let's zoom in a bit. There you go. Right over here, right? Look right. Where did it go? Right to the 50. This was at 4:50 a.m. Still was not in front of my computer. So this move was done, right? It worked. If anybody in Europe or elsewhere had gotten into this, there you go. Stop at the 61.8. Aim for 3 or aim for whatever, right? I aim for 3. Back testing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It works often. But this one, I'm not sure I would have gotten out of, because even on the 5-minute here, there's no sign of it retracing. So that could have been a 7-hour trade. So missed the entry on the kangaroo tail, but got the short on the retest. But I did not. I wasn't up yet. Let's move a couple candles. Okay, so this is where, close to where I got to the computer. I'm not going to put the fib at the top because that move has happened. So what I did is I put a fib at where it came back into the 50. There we go. And I put the bottom where we touched the bottom over here. And this is where I put my limit entry. Short. Right here. Actually, right below the 50. Right around there. Didn't know when it was going to hit. So now I usually use 61.8 as my stop. But looking at this one, the most obvious spot for the stop was not at the 61.8. It was above yesterday's high, right here. So that's where I put the stop, right above yesterday's high, right? It's still pretty much in the same area, but I thought this was a little bit more logical. So that's it. I set the order here and I went about the workout. I was on my treadmill. And a few minutes later, it got me in. And I was worried over it. Well, I wasn't really worried. I was okay putting in 1R risk for the possibility of making 3R. And it worked out. There you go. I didn't move this down to 3. There you go. There's a 3. That's where it got me out at 3R. Took a screenshot and I shared it on the Discord. So this one worked out perfectly. Any questions on this? Anybody have comments, questions on why I took this? There is room to the left. I mean, you can look at the image. I annotated the image that I put in the Discord. Apple all-time high. So everything seems to be ripping right now, and it's okay. I'm not trading at 9:37 in the morning. Okay, so no questions, no comments. There you go. Just figured I would share what happened this morning. That was a 3-hour trade.
Congratulations. That's nice to start off the day with a cushion.
Yeah, especially on a Friday morning, a Friday that I'm not sure if I'm going to take anything, but I've been liking the pre-market, and it goes back to why I got back into futures. Just got sick of trading the open and trying to deal with this stuff. Actually, let's look at this instead, right? This stuff. This is incredibly difficult to trade. So anyway, that was my trade on MES, and then I happened to be at the computer. Let's just look at it. Boom, this one right here. So this was And I was at the computer at 8:10, change of routine this morning because my daughter isn't going to school, so didn't have to prepare and do stuff. So I was actually at the computer at 8:10. Saw this massive spike up, and let's go back because I took another trade, and let's print this one. Okay, so this is a massive move, right? You can tell that this is on news. This is where I went here. This wasn't printed yet, but at 8:09 or something, I don't know if this was this says 8:12, but right around this time, it wasn't this graphic, but it just said the Pakistani army chief is on the way to Tehran. So that's positive news. I switched over to the 1 minute. I missed this move, right? I missed it. Obviously, you gotta know what's happening before it happens to be able to get long on this, because I was short biased, right? We were selling this morning. But on this positive news, I got to my computer, and the impulse move is buying. So, and it hit a top there. Right, so this is 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Let's move 1 minute at a time. Coming down, retracing. Look at how it hits the 50, but I did not get in there, thankfully. This one I was managing because it's on the 1 minute time frame. Over here, it came right back down to the 61.8 and then started buying. Right here was my entry. Long there. I don't know if you can see that candle here. Let me take this out again. So that candle, and can I remove the fib over here just to make it obvious? There you go. So this candle right here, that is a bullish 1 minute candle. If it breaks the high, I'm long with the stop beneath the wick, aiming for 3R. I must have gotten in a tiny bit under that because I hit 3R right on this wick, right over here. So I might have gotten in, maybe I got lucky. But right when I saw that this was wick and then the second wick here, I actually physically got in and exited. So it might have been just, 2.9R. So there you go. That's the replay of both my trades today and the way that I trade. I'm up 6R. I can take another trade. If it's a loss, I'm done for the day at plus 5R.
Cool.
That's the but if I win, I can take another trade. If I lose, I'm done. So after 2 wins, after the first win, 1 loss after 1 win, I'm done for the day. I don't chase. I am going to stay green. And the way that I trade, there's only one pathway. Actually, there's really 2. There's only one pathway to losses, and it's 3 losses in a row, minus 3R. I say that that's the only pathway, but there is another one, is that if I'm down 2R and there are no other setups, so I don't get to take that third trade. So it's possible to be down 1R, 2R, but usually I'll take 3 trades. If I have 3 losers, then I'm done for the day. And I set up my R value to be at a level. Wow, we're really chopping around here. I set up my R value to be okay to losing 3R. So that's my recap of the morning. By the way, this on the buying, which trade was it? I don't remember which one. Oh, it was the trade, the retest I took here. When we started buying, the CBD was not climbing. I don't know exactly where it is that I was, but it just gave me conviction that my short was in the right direction. So let's get back to the 5. Let's start looking. I don't know if you guys are looking at anything. Please don't hesitate to share. All-time highs over here, right? I think. No, sorry, we're not at all-time highs. It was the Dow. It was over here, and that we're at all-time highs. Right, this is at all-time highs. MES very close. Right, close to all-time highs over here, but not quite there. MCL, we're pulling back on that news. That news was at 8 something right over here. Right, 810. Let's see if it would have worked over here on the short. So this was the, let's go on the 1 minute. 813 right here. Right, that was the short. This is where we started pulling back. Right here. Enter short. Right here. Stop here. Aim for 3. This went 5. So would have worked on that too. But you have to be patient and you have to wait for an impulse move. You have to know, like Avi's kid yesterday that was saying, wait until you find out who's in control, right? The comment that Avi put on there. You need to see that before the system will work. And right now, it seems like the bulls are in control, but I'm going to wait the first half hour. I had Bloom Energy on my stock, on my chart yesterday because of this. Look at this breakout here. RH. Right, so we broke out with momentum. Zoom into the 1 over here. And zoom in here, take the anchor off. So the level, this is the level right here. We broke out of it on the 1 minute. So the actual breakout happened. I mean, it broke out here and then put in this red candle. But then over here, right, once we close over here and then we jumped, right? Look at, we close at 294.17. And then the open of the following candle is actually above the wick. That is very, very bullish. Long for the break and retest. Stop either below the longest wick, which is kind of far away, below this wick, or aggressive, just below the level. And just for the fun of it, with that entry, 14 on. If you trade like that. And then just kept on going after hours. Just for the fun of it, let's go. Could have been a 20-hour move. I do not trade like that. But just another good example of the break and retest. Right? There's room to the left. You can look at it on the 15-minute like a lot of people do. Right? There's a level here. There's absolute the high of the previous day. Breakout. But if you're trading on the 15-minute, a little bit harder to get an entry. Right? Where's your stop on this entry? Right? Can't be down here. If so, it's a swing trade, right, for a few days. Bloom Energy, very, very interesting name. Evo, any of those obscure names that you're looking at today?
Yeah, definitely. The quantum stocks are in place. So that would be Rigetti, RGTI, QUBT, QBTS. The latter is traded on NYSE. The first two are on NASDAQ. And there's a catalyst because the administration, they awarded a lot of grant money for these quantum computing companies. So they're definitely in play. They're just ripping right now. And so if you look at all three, they're kind of moving in one direction.
Yeah.
Normally, I like to buy under VWAP. I might make an exception if I see my setup appear, but otherwise, I'm looking at Nvidia. with the leverage product NVDL. There's a lot of room to the left if we can hold some of these levels here. And also Futu. Futu is a Chinese company. They had some really bad news, and
Aren't they?
there's a ton of room to the left as well.
Yeah, holy, look at that drop.
Yeah.
The entire Chinese market yesterday. I don't know if anybody saw that screenshot of circulating on X. It's the entire Chinese market yesterday was down. So I do not trade Chinese stocks anymore. I did. I don't like them. But they're, I mean, that's me. It's just sharing, just why I don't know how these move usually, but I do like seeing what's happening. This is a very interesting setup here, right? Depending on where it is on the CAN levels. Where is this right now? See, we're under R3. This is my Kangaroo Tail short setup possibly happening here. If it were to close red underneath pre-market high, this could be a short. I don't want to influence you. I think you said you're trying to possibly go long on this, but
definitely. But it's gonna pull back on the fib levels and take it back up to higher days. So we'll see.
Yeah, and right now the impulse move is long. Right, I would possibly take this short if it breaks down below 28.34, but I would only be aiming for the 50 for the pullback. Right. Today's watch list. Oh, thank you for sharing, Evo. Volumes are quite light today. Thank you for sharing, Amza. Gilles, how far left do you look at on MNQ? You have so much room to the left to find levels. However, MCL, for example, is up and down so much with so many levels. Do you go to the most recent break of structure? Okay, good question. Let's go to MES here this morning. Let's go back. We're on the 5 minute. So as far as MES here, this is where the market was when I got into the market. I mean, I can extend this. Wow, there's tons and tons of room to the left. So as far as I was eyeballing it, and just, I know that Avi gets this question often too, but usually I'm on the 5 minute, and this is what I've got on my screen here. Right, I'm over here, so I'm seeing yesterday. I'm not looking, all this way back. So this morning, was right over here. This was a Kangaroo Tail that I wish I had taken. You can tell, right, that there's room to the left here. Right? But then, and the same thing on MNQ, right? MNQ, I was zooming in. Probably like this. I like seeing what happened the next day. I'm liking these levels, the pre-market high, yesterday high, pre-market low. If we're above yesterday's high, I mean, right now we're bullish, right? Even though we're pulling back. By the way, just for the fun of it, it is 9:51. We had an impulse move up. And now we're pulling down. This is where I'd be putting in my my fib levels. It's the first 30 minutes. I am not going to put in a limit order to buy here, but I will look at it, and I would zoom into the 2 minute. And if it closes below 61.8, then I would remove this. Okay? I'm going to remove it anyway because I'm not planning on taking this right now. Then your question was on MCL. Well, MCL, the short, right? We were going short here. Again, I'm looking to the left. So this is where I'm zoomed in. Whoops, I don't want to be on the 1 minute. I want to be on the 5. Right, I'm looking left. There's this Kangaroo Tail, right? This is a long signal right here. I think Avi was talking about this one this morning. It's a Kangaroo Tail that takes liquidity out. If the trend is going up, then we call it a trendy kangaroo. Right? But we had just recently been coming down. Therefore, you can call it a reversal signal. But if you're starting down here, then it's a trendy kangaroo that's continuing up. So what I was looking at this morning, actually, I wasn't looking at oil, but when I did my example earlier, I was saying that the impulse move down over here on news, it was down, and then it went through the room to the left. Right? From here, there's lots of room. I mean, we're all the way back to yesterday here. So this is what you want to see. Even this right here is quite a lot of room to the left. Right? This, if you're looking at this candle right here and you look left, there's no room to the left. We're just there. Right? So this, if you haven't, and not just Harmanatha, I hope I did your name okay. Not just you, but anybody else. For more information on this, Naked Forex. It is, as far as my trading is concerned, it is one of the most important books I've read. Oh, and I'm getting messages in here. Sorry, Will. IONQ as well. Yeah, for QBTS, IONQ. Right, that's a massive mover right there. Right, impulse move is to the top side. This works on equities as well. That's the top. Where's the entry? Probably right over here. It didn't quite make it there. Right? So if somebody actually got in right here, maybe yesterday high, once we retested yesterday's high for an entry, possibly on the 1 minute, possibly. It's a break and the retest. Right? Look over here. We broke out. Right? Broke out of this level and retested. Then again, where's the target? Right? It's, if we go on the 15-minute over here, right, we're at all-time highs. So this would be a hard one to take on the retest. Let me get rid of some of these. Right, so we broke out of a level. Let's go back to the 5. Broke out of this, of yesterday's high. Broke out of it and went up quite a bit. Went up 4%. Right, from here went up 4%. So now it comes back down. The retest is, I guess you can make 3R from there going back to the highs. But the way that other people trade is that they want to make higher highs. The way that I trade, it's 3R. So an entry over here would have been on 1 minute, possibly, right over here. Long, enter after a bullish candle, stop below the wick, aim for 3. There's 3. Actually, let's put it right at 3, and we're going to see that 3 was hit, or very darn close. Right, so the breakout and retest on the 1 minute over here, aiming for 3R, would have worked. Thank you. You're welcome. I like questions, guys. If it's too much information, you can always mute. Right? It's and obviously you know that. So this is interesting. Big impulse move this morning. Right, retested that area at the open, but right now possibly struggling with the highs. This might come back down to this area and test it again before moving back up. I do not see a setup in this personally. What's gold doing? Gold, if I look left, this is obviously a level. Right here. Support, 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 a bunch of times over here. So it's not necessarily a buy, it's just an interesting level to be looking at. I want to see what will it do here. If it were to put in a long-tailed wick, possibly come down to pre-market low, take out the stops down here, over the next little while, this might be a buy. But if it comes down, closes below here, and this line is just a general area, it's not just one price, but if it were to close below here or break down below with momentum, then it might be a break and retest short.
Jill, have a look at Nvidia. It's kind of at a critical area right now. It's which is kind of what I like. It's pulling back to the low area from yesterday, and maybe potentially the low when they had their earnings release, which would have been on Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah.
And it, on the 5 minutes, sort of put in a green hammer. This is not my trade book to just jump in. I'm looking for a trend to be established at the bottom, the pivot low. But I'm curious to see if we head a little bit back down to test the low of that after-hour session for the earnings release, or if this is maybe a little trap right here, we find buyers and we're going to start to head back up. Do you have any read on it from your vantage point?
Yeah. Yeah. So my read is that this is the level, right? We touched it, came close to it. Support over here, supported earnings, right? We came back down here and then really bought up from there. Then Thursday held as support. This morning, it's possibly holding as support. But the only way I would go long here, there's two ways. Either a double bottom, which would take a while to set up, or a kangaroo tail long. So let's look at this candle right here. Right? This was shaping up to be close to a kangaroo tail long. Right? It meets many of my criteria. So here's the kangaroo tail long trade book. Room to the left, check. Is it at a level? Check. Are we buying? Kind of check. It wicked down and then it closed higher. But what I don't like is that there's a wick at the top. And let's say it did close right up here, right? The tail is 2/3 of the candle, check. Then you enter on the break of a new high. If momentum is there, and then you set your stop. I mean, conservative below the wick, aggressive below yesterday low, 50% retracement from the wick. I mean, there's all kinds of different things. But it did not make a new high. Oops. Right? Did not make a new high. So there's no entry.
I think it looks like it's going to head south to test that low of that after-hour news release.
That level here, Alt H. There you go. So that's another level. Right. So this kangaroo tail did not shape up. I wouldn't have taken it because it did not meet my criteria. I do not want a wick at the top like this. And had there been no wick at the top, the body would have been a little bit more than 1/3 of the candle. Would have been hard to take here. But on strong momentum, and you can tell with price action, you can tell with formation of the candle if we're actually buying. Also, after two big red candles over here, it's sometimes hard to take this. But the short, possibly. But this is a big area, or could be a large area of support. If we look left over here, we had been here before. I know that there's this, I assume that there's institutions that are looking to load the boat on this and just looking for the right price.
Yeah, it's coming down to that level. We'll see what.
Yeah. If it were to happen right now or on the next candle, if it was a kangaroo tail, I would not take it just because it's right now there's selling pressure. And let's look at the CVD. All right, CVD, we're selling. And we can tell CVD is down $1.5 million shares imbalance. No comments here, so I'm just going to leave this on MNQ, and I'll be back in a minute. I just need to step away for a minute. Possible double bottom. I don't like calling this a double bottom, because for it to be a double bottom, it needs to come from the top, right? So for it to be a bottom, it consolidated over here and then went up, right? So it's not really a double bottom. Some people might call it a double bottom here, but for my trade book, this is not a double bottom to go long off. Undo, and I'll be right back. So now that Nvidia is at that area, for it to be a KT, you want it to be a liquidity sweep. You want to see, you know, that wick come right down and then be bought up really, really quickly. And I'm not seeing this right now. So Nvidia looks weak. Does AMD and the others look like?
AMD is sold off.
Yeah, AMD spiked. Look at this, and that's above all-time high. So let's look here. So that was in the pre-market. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to mention, I also watch INTC. It's kind of chopping around right now.
Yeah.
A bit selling off, but definitely a chop fest there.
Yeah, just look at these candles, and I turn the channel. You know, for me, that's no go. Same thing with MNQ right now. It just went up, coming down. I mean, it's choppy, just like yesterday. That's why I'm loving trading between 5 and 8. I mean, these smaller candles are fantastic to trade. And then after 10 a.m., sometimes after 10:30, you start seeing direction again. Gold closed below. So look at this as far as the level that I set up, right? So we broke down. This is a 1 minute. I usually like to look at the 5. There you go. So we broke down below here. So this was the impulse move. I would set my fibs right there. Short there. Stop. Oops. Target. There you go. So that was the impulse move. There's room to the left. It was at a level. It's a break and retest, right? So it broke down. Will it come and retest at this level? On the 1 minute, it did. Right? That's why I don't like trading the 1 minute. I will trade the 1 minute on a news event. Or I will look at the 1 or the 2 minute for a market entry. So if this were the fibs that I was looking at here, I'd want to see a candle make it into here, make it into the golden zone, and then really sell from there. And I don't see one yet. I don't see a bearish candle in there.
Jill, Nvidia is putting in a nice green hammer.
Oh yeah.
Have a look at it. It's shooting back up. It looks
That-
very interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. That's a liquidity
Yeah.
sweep that I like. I don't like that it's after, a lot of selling, but I said there's institutions that will load the boat on Nvidia.
Look at the volume. The
I
volume on this 5 minutes increasing. It's eclipsing the past, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So that's
So
looking like it maybe wants to turn
here.
around.
Let me. I don't know what this panel is here. That's not. I'm in. Am I in replay? Is that why? There you go. Come on. Now, if the body ends up being too big, I won't take it either, just because it's too hard to put a stop on this. But let's go here. Let's go to a market, a buy. Let's go with the risk. Let's put the risk at $100. Let's put the stop just below the level, and entry if it breaks the high here, right? With momentum.
Got a little bit of a northern wick to it that just broke it. Yeah, it's going to push through.
Yeah, so it's making a new high. Now I want to see, just looking at price action here, let's see, can we make new highs? Right? I want to see a push happen. All right, stop would be right there. This is on paper trading, so
see, for me, that candle is so massive. Like I wouldn't want to get in. And what I wanted to do is I want to get a bull flag under VWAP. So I want to get a pull formation. I want to have a pullback that's kind of orderly, and we get some nice fib level support in the pullback. And if I get a smaller candle in the pullback, where I can load the boat with a lot of shares, and it doesn't have to go that much further north, and I can make a lot of R. So
yeah.
But right now, when I see this for my trading style, like it's the chart is really telling me, like, okay, start to pay attention to this ticker. It has potential.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm just putting in a paper trade here. Just possibility of a long. On the 5 minute, my kangaroo tail, by the way, is only I only take it on the 5 minute, so it would be on the break if we have volume on the break over here. So that would be the entry there, and the stop for me, it's a more aggressive stop because it's not underneath the wick. It's just underneath that level that we had set already, which was the low of earnings. And from there, if it's long, that's the entry. Actually, but let's put it perfectly. That's the entry. That's the stop. 3R is not off the charts, right? 3R is not way the heck up here. So it's a possible trade. So there you go. I put it on and then go to something else. Or I shouldn't say that. I'm not necessarily going to get into something else. But I'm not going to look at it tick by tick. M2K gap filled. Which gap are we looking at here? I know Hamza looks at the 30 minute. And it's strong. MYM still making new highs.
There was a New York session gap from 28.70 to 28.25, and it's pretty much filled the whole thing now.
So you're looking at the trading sessions. So do you mind explaining what you mean by which gap are you talking about?
So on the bottom right of your chart, if you go to settings and if you just click on regular trading session, that's the main New York session.
Yeah.
And then if you, so there should be on the M2K, there was a fairly large gap to fill.
From
No, go left, keep going left. Yeah, that one there. From that close, no, yeah, from this close down to the next close.
So from this day on Thursday, that's Thursday of last week.
Yeah, from Thursday to Friday.
From here down. This over here is filled. Is that what you meant right here?
Yeah, so that big open space that you see between the
I got it.
close and the open from Thursday to Friday.
Yeah.
Most of those gaps typically get filled, but the big ones, they are the ones that might not get filled.
Okay.
That's like real market moving news.
Yeah.
And it's a big empty space of liquidity really, because the overnight session doesn't trade anywhere near as much as the New York session does for the equity futures. So now that we've filled it, I don't know, I think we could possibly start to see more profit taking.
Yeah, it could possibly be going down. Thanks for sharing. I'm not used to looking at the chart just with RTH. So by looking at it, now it's very obvious, right? It's jumping out at me that from the close of New York over here on Thursday, May 14th to the open, and the open was right down here. We tried to make it back up, but then we were down, and then climbing up, and this right here is where we closed that gap. So don't tell me it's something else I need to start looking at, because
sorry, Gilles, the gap was from 28.68.
28.
Yeah, it's the closing price. The settlement.
Okay, yeah. 28.68 right here. Right there.
So everything that after that to the next open, that's like your Asia and London session.
Yeah.
And most of the time those get filled.
There you go. Just trying to make it visual over here. So that was the gap right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Stop loss on Nvidia on a paper trade.
Your stop was triggered?
Yep. Yeah. I'm just sharing it as what a kangaroo tail setup often looks like. I'd said already that I didn't like it just because it was right after a very big candle here. So I do these on paper trading. I do them in replay just for educational purposes. Right? I haven't taken an equities trade in a couple months, and just because I strictly stick to futures right now. But just for argument's sake, this is very close to being the type of trade that I would take for the kangaroo tail long. Hamza, you've got a hot mic there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Not at all.
I think that level that was established from the after hours earnings is such an important level. Like my own personal gut was like, I would feel that would be retested even after the green hammer. So if I were to take the trade, my comfort level would be the very low of the wick. But that means I have to take less share size to accommodate the greater risk.
Exactly.
And that affects my R. That's why I said, like, oh, I'm just going to sit in my hands and let a trend develop. and get a pullback on that trend. And if I get a higher risk to reward, then I could go in with bigger size.
Yeah, you'd like to see a consolidation here and then possibly a dip down, and then it's definitely considered a double bottom. If it happens a little bit, I like having 3 5-minute candles minimum for a double bottom. So this was the bottom, then we come down, re-chop, possibly come down. I know Avi likes the fact of not letting it go down lower. I'm actually the opposite. I like the idea of it just wicking down, as long as it's a wick down. If it closes down, then it's not a double bottom for me. But if it were to wick down just a tiny bit lower here, because there are stops of people that went long, just like I did, they've put their stops right here. So there's going to be a lot of liquidity right underneath this wick. So I like to see it come down, wick down, and then just move straight up. And then zoom into the 2-minute for the double bottom. I do enter on a smaller time frame, 2-minute, 1 minute. So yeah, this trade is very similar to what I would take for a kangaroo tail long. It's just I would not take it after a massive red candle like this. And that is all from Naked Forex. Right, that is also a rule, very strong rule from Naked Forex, as well as Japanese candlestick patterns, or whatever the name of that book is.
What I like about this current 5-minute candle in the pullback is we have declining volume. So I like that on the pullback, although we pull back almost to the 78.6 fib level. If you throw it from the bottom of that green hammer, so it's a bit of a steeper pullback, but again, the trend on the selling right now is decreasing so far.
Yeah, and as far as a break down and retest, right, we broke down below this level, but then we did not come back and retest it. All right, so we broke down, maybe if you consider this hammer over here, the breakdown, there might have been a 1-minute entry over here for the move down lower. And as far as the breakdown below this, there's no momentum to it, right? There's not even a big red candle below this. Maybe I'm a little bit too biased on this, but I have a feeling we're going to start buying sooner than later. Like, I can't imagine that we're going to be making, again, I'm not trying to predict, but just like I said, I try not to have a bias, but with Nvidia, it's hard. It is so strong. I don't know. There's a big daily gap over here. All right, let's take some of these drawings off here. There's a big daily gap over here, so we might come down here. Right, that's a level right there. This level right here, let's move this one down here. Right, so on the higher time frame, when you're looking at this was resistance, then we punch through it, right? And then on this day, it just opened there. Are we going to come and retest this level? Maybe. So there you go. No trades for me on that. Are we still moving up on? Yeah. So this retest would have worked on IONQ. RGTI did not really give didn't give an entry possibility on this breakout, but it had already been there. Right, so it's hard to go long on something like this when you're already at all-time highs. You can use
gotta wait for it to pull back.
Yeah,
I might, what I like to do is I look at the 5-minute, but after a period of time, I like when things kind of slow down, I like to change my charts to a 15-minute.
Yeah,
because as the price movement tends to sort of ramble on the 5-minute and it's not as dramatic, usually I'll get a clearer view on the 15-minute.
Yeah, good. This might just be an inside day too, right? We've got this, whoops, over here. But is this real news? Right? Is it real? Are we just going to take this Al Arabiya sources and believe that this is happening? So I'm just saying there's a lot of people that are waiting to see proof. Right? Is there a resolution to the conflict? And before knowing that, I think people are going to be a little bit hesitant. So this was a level here that I put on yesterday, I think. Right, it's definitely a level of interest. Oh, I'm getting a phone call, and it's 10:24. I've got to take this, guys. So I'm going to leave it on there. I might be back. Oui, allô? Pas vraiment, non? Qu'est-ce qu'il y a? Ah, OK. Ah, OK. Ça, je peux te taper dans 6 minutes d'abord? OK. OK. Je suis juste en ligne comme c'est là, puis ma session va finir dans 5-6 minutes. OK, je te rappelle. OK, bye-bye. Bye. There you go. Sorry about that, but when mom and dad call, you pick up the phone.
You got to, man.
Yeah, you know what? I'm very, very lucky to be my age and to have both my parents. So when they call, I pick up the phone, and your first thought is, there might be something wrong. So gladly it isn't. Just filling out forms they need help with. So I will do that in a minute. So thank you for the hearts, folks. I'm going to finish off with this question here. Gilles, would you call MES a double top at the break of 7,500? MES double top. So it's coming in from the bottom, right? It came and made a top, and then it just chopped around over here. So you know what? I'm going to draw it. What I like to see as, maybe I won't draw it. My tool doesn't seem to be, my Epic pen doesn't seem to be loading. Oh, there you go. There we go. I haven't used this in a while, so I'm going to make sure that it's working okay. There we go. So what I like to see here, I'll do the I like to see stuff going on like this, make a top, and then I want, sorry, the drawing is not perfect. I want to see a pullback like this before making a second top, before going down. That did not work at all. Get rid of that and go back to this. So maybe on the 1 minute. Yeah, so on the 1 minute, the drawing is a little bit better. So, but I like seeing a double top on the 5 minute. On the 1 minute, I think that might have been what you asked. No, you asked on the 5 minute. So on the 1 minute, look at how it made a top. It pulled back, then it came and made a second top right here, not higher than the first. And then you try to find an entry on the next bearish candle. Well, this is a massive bearish candle over here. So on the 1 minute time frame, this could have worked, right? You go short on the break or a new low after that bearish candle. Stop would have to be above. This would be an aggressive stop. This would be a more conservative stop. And then you have to aim for 3. Well, 3 is down here. That's, you have to aim for a lot of people aim for 1, 1 to 1. I always aim for 3. I want to see, is there a possibility of getting to 3 within the range that we're looking at right now? And right now, yeah, we're there pre-market, so it's not uncalled for to be able to get down over here. But on the 5-minute, I do not see the setup at all. Let me take this off. On the 5-minute, it's just wicks here. So, you know, it's got teeth. So I don't see it over here. If there's an entry over here, right, if that's a top, and then we try to make, if you can find an entry over here, possibly below pre-market high, and with, you know, possibly a stop right above the previous wick, right, or the previous high here, then you're looking at 3R over here, right? That's what I like to see. I want to see that I can get there quickly, but without just loading the boat with shares and, you know, not having just putting in a random stop somewhere. So this is not random. We couldn't make it up past here. So this would have been, if you can find an entry on here, this possibly could have been a good trade. Okay, hopefully that answers that question. And it is 10:30. By the way, no, the market is closed on Monday, so I will not be here on this coming Monday, but I will be back next Tuesday. And I'll be checking the room this afternoon to see if anybody is playing poker. But like I said, my daughter is home today, so I might not make it. But if I see a bunch of people in there, I might join in. All right, have a great weekend, everyone. Hopefully you guys are profitable right now. And like I've said many times, the room remains open. So you guys hang out in here. There we go. All right, have a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks, Gilles. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for sharing, and thanks for the questions, folks.